I put it on top of the pod.
Duh.
After we're done
course.
recording.
I
Duh.
heard
Haven't
it
you potted before?
It's been a minute. I feel like it's been.
It has been a
years.
minute. We had ourselves a little bye week.
We did. It was not planned, but that's what happened.
What did you do during your bye week? Did you do anything cool?
I don't know about cool. I went to a couple different vets because I have a zoo at home. I voted. I watched my vote disappear into the abyss and watched football.
Yeah. I also watched a shit ton of football. We've got a lot of football to cover. So save your, probably shouldn't even have asked you about your time off. We can just save that for your corner, you know?
Yeah.
Getting ahead of myself. I'm just excited to hear about it. That's all.
Definitely won't be interesting.
But I have a feeling that's not the case. But anyways,
okay.
Yeah, man, 2 weeks of football. And the best way I can summarize it is, can anyone predict anything that's going on in the NFL right now? Did anyone see what was happening? You know, anyone can see what was coming? Because it's been a crazy couple weeks. You know, what do you think?
Yeah, it kind of sucked. The timing of, like I said, the bye week was not intentional, and we'll get into that. But there was a lot of stuff that happened last week. What was this, week 10 that just finished?
Yeah.
Yeah. So week 9 there was a lot, and now this week again there was a lot. I'm not sure where you want to start.
How about we start right here?
Oh, you don't want to start from over there? Okay.
I checked. I fixed my little note.
Oh, you're being serious. I didn't see
We
that.
fired Dennis Allen, baby.
Congratulations.
He gone. Man, and everyone rejoiced, embraced each other. We cried a little bit. Dennis Allen was finally gone. And lo and behold, what happens? The new coach theory, interim coach theory, as soon as you start your next week with a new coach, you ball the fuck out. And that's exactly what we did. The Saints break their 7-game losing streak and beat the Falcons.
I'm happy for you.
This is coming off a loss from last week where we lost to the fucking Panthers.
Oh, yeah. Part of me thinks the Saints players kind of tanked that because it seemed to me that they actually hated Dennis.
That was a theory. I heard about that as a theory that I think an announcer, I want to say it was the brother of Travis Kelce. What's his name?
Jason.
Yeah. I thought he said something like that, and I was like, yeah, I could believe that. I mean, there was reports from the beat writers in New Orleans that the locker room was in disarray, so it would make sense that they would want to tank to find a way to get Dennis Allen fired. Real quick, the new coach, the interim coach is Rizzi. His last name is Rizzi.
Is it really?
There's a funny story that came out. Did you hear about this?
No.
So he shared after the win that he took a shit in the head coach bathroom, and then he clogged it. He clogged the bathroom, and he thought it was like a bad omen into the first game. They end up winning. So now it could just be his new thing. He's just the head coach that has clogged the toilet.
I hope that's his new thing, and I hope he does that every week.
The clogger.
They played in the Superdome, right?
Yeah, they played in New Orleans.
Yeah, he should be destroying that thing, blowing it up. And maybe they can sneak it in the playoffs.
That's well. I mean, not even.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. There's no
dude.
way.
It's possible. The NFC South is kind of cratering, right? Like Tampa Bay, they have so many injuries, and then the Falcons. I don't know what to make of them because I thought they were good, and now, I mean, they lost to a bad team. My team. I feel like the NFC South is still kind of open.
I think it's more that there's no truly great team than it being open. I'm sorry, bro, but the Saints are just too far behind, don't you think? What are they now?
I
No, sorry,
I would
4 and
say
6.
that if they were in the AFC North, but since our division is so shit and Tampa Bay doesn't have really a good enough lead to eliminate the Saints from playoff contention, hey, we still got a chance. We still got a chance.
All right, I'm happy for you, man.
uh, before I get too much into that, I think the Saints losing and then winning is sort of a good kind of epitomizes the past 2 weeks. So last week, our bye week, it was a frustrating week overall. It was a very difficult week to predict, but it was also a week where square bettors profited big time. Out of all of our games, so we had 15 games. 14-1, the favorites won and covered. The one team that didn't cover, the fucking Saints. They lost to Carolina and they were favored by 6 points. So annoying. But
That's crazy.
dude,
That's a huge spread. But yeah.
huge. And they're the ones that didn't cover, playing the fucking Panthers. Anyways, that week, favorites go 14-1. This week,
Damn.
it's the opposite.
Is it 1 and 14?
Not quite. Sorry, I exaggerated a little there. It was the resurgence of the underdog. You know how I know? I actually finally had a good day of betting, which is annoying because I'm just like, God, it's so inconsistent. I'm glad I went 4-1 this week and I only bet dogs. And the only dog that didn't come through with me, which is totally on me, is I bet on the Colts. But
That is on
anyways,
you.
yeah, it's just weird. There's so much flip-flopping. Like, I can't trust anybody except God's team, the Chiefs. You can always count on the Chiefs, which, by the way, they're underdogs this week. So
Are they? That's concerning.
guess what? Who I'm betting? God's team.
Chiefs.
That was the fastest bet I could do. I think they're dogs by 2.5 to the Bills. Which, oh, dude, I can't wait for that game. That's this week.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, they're road dogs, so they're going into Buffalo. But yeah,
I feel like Mahomes is finally going to get his head out of his ass now that he's playing Josh. At least I hope so. He's been actually kind of bad, like straight up.
Yeah.
Don't you think? It's
He
insane
has
that they're
been
undefeated.
Well, last week's game, he had a good game to everybody but Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, I guess that's why I
He
feel
literally, I think he literally had like the best QB rating ever if you didn't include Worthy's targets. But now this week, it came back to bite him because now he might be solely responsible for injuring Ray Rice and Xavier Worthy because his throws were sailed, right? And
yeah.
in this case, Xavier went to catch that ball and then he got hurt. I don't know. Is that injury?
I know what you're talking about.
Serious?
I think no, I don't think it's serious, although I don't know for sure. But it didn't seem I think he came back in after.
Oh, word.
But
okay.
The play you're describing, yeah, Worthy, like, I think it was a scramble, but Worthy got behind the defense down the sideline. It's a walk-in touchdown, and then Mahomes just throws it out of bounds.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then blocked field goal.
Yeah, it's ugly.
To end the game.
Yeah, man. It's another thing that's just crazy about this past couple weeks. Like, there's just crazy shit that happens, but when the smoke clears, the fucking Chiefs are still undefeated. They're 9-0. They've already had their bye. And I think arguably their hardest game is going to be this week. Their next hardest game is going to be, they're going to go into Houston like week 14 or something. But then after this game, if they can win this game, they have a legitimate shot of going undefeated. But I have a feeling that if there's any game they're going to lose, it's going to be going into Buffalo.
I don't know, man. I feel like Mahomes owns the Bills. I hope you're right though. I'm finally turning like anti-Chiefs. I'm only a few years late to the party, but they've started to piss me off sufficiently.
Yeah, they're probably pissing a lot of people off. You know what? Dude, Josh Allen is kind of pissing me off because I've been, these past weeks, I've gotten a chance to see a good amount of Bills football. And it seems like at the very beginning of games, when Buffalo's playing bad teams, Josh he's starting to become like that Josh Allen that we remember, the one that turns it over inexplicably, like way too much. And he did that a lot against who did they play last week?
I mean, not the Colts, the game before.
They played the Dolphins, a bad team.
Oh,
And that game was close at the beginning because Josh Allen was playing terribly. And then this week, he throws bad interceptions. He was just awful in the first half. And then they come out and blow out the Colts. So I feel like there's evidence that the Bills are really good at stomping bad teams. But I'm still not convinced because I feel like I'm seeing Josh Allen turn into the Josh Allen that we know, turning it over. And I feel like that's going to be on full display against a very, very good defense.
yeah.
So I don't want to bet against the Chiefs, especially when their defense is playing that well and their special teams is, has the hand of God with them. So like I don't know if it's safe to bet on Josh Allen. Like he just seems like he's ready to break at any moment with these games he's been playing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, I'm with you. I think Reed is in his bag. He's acting like it's January already, which is a problem. And the O line is unflappable. It's kind of crazy. It feels like they just get 5 yards whenever they want it. So they've turned kind of like into a boring team to watch, Kansas City. But
Hey
they're
man, speak
winning.
for yourself. I actually really enjoy watching them. You know why?
Really? Why?
I bet you could guess why.
Taylor
Their
Swift.
running back, dude. Kareem Hunt is so fun to watch. He's so good. He
Taylor
was
Swift's
again a
more fun to
monster
watch.
against Denver.
He is really good. No,
So
you're right.
good.
I don't know how he was a free agent at this point. Ugh.
It's remarkable watching him run the ball, and he's playing a little like Zeke Elliott. Like he'll get hit super hard right at the line of scrimmage, and then all of a sudden he falls forward and he has 4 yards.
So that was
Like
a
it's
compliment
crazy.
there. Zeke's a compliment.
Yeah. Well, prime
Oh,
Zeke, not
I'm Zeke.
current
Okay.
fumble in your own 10-yard line Zeke.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, man, I guess we can just jump straight into that. The Chiefs, is there any doubt that they're not winning the Super Bowl this year? Because that game, okay, for the listeners that didn't watch that game, just painting a simple picture. Well, actually, to give a little bit more context, last week they won a very close game.
In overtime.
In overtime, where people are thinking and they're saying out loud, these games are rigged, the refs are on their side. So they're going into into this game with pressure of playing a mediocre, maybe kind of good Denver team with Bo Nix actually playing pretty well.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, right?
It's kind of annoying. I think we may have been clowns early in the season when we
I know
said
I
he'd be
was.
awful.
Yeah.
I do think he's not really doing much out of structure that's impressive. But again, it's the NFL. Even if you're just dropping back and hitting open guys, that's still really hard to do. So props to Bo.
Yeah, Bo is also an incredible athlete. Not only has he's been passing really well, but boy, is he really good with his legs. It kind of looks like he's been watching a lot of Lamar Jackson film because that's who he kind of looks like right now. It's not as quick, but my God, he's been choosing the right time.
You're gonna have to make me pull out my Tomlin soundboard. Did you hear what Tomlin said about Lamar?
No. What did he say?
It was something. It was right after they beat Washington this week. He got asked about next week. They play Baltimore next week, and some reporter asked him, "Oh, so you guys just beat a really good Jaden Daniels?" And then he said something like, "How will this help you prepare for Lamar Jackson since they're very similar?" And then he goes, be very careful comparing people to Mr. Jackson. We'll see Mr. Jackson next week.
That's
So
fair.
be very careful. But continue.
You know what's crazy is that how long has Andy Reid been coaching now? He's like only 30, 40 wins away from Bill Belichick. And
Is he?
Mike Tomlin's also relatively young. He's much younger than Andy Reid, and he's got a lot of wins. Never had a losing season.
Yeah. They're both pre-2010, right? For sure. I'm pretty sure they are.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because I think Roethlisberger and James Harrison won a Super Bowl against the Cardinals in like 2009 or 2008 or
Yeah,
something.
that's right. That's right.
And I think Tomlin was the one. And I think Ben was either a rookie or a sophomore. Anyways, that's a tangent. So, yeah, the Chiefs have this contest going into this Denver game, and they're also favored by 6.5 points. It might have been 7.5. And the betting perspective, the general perspective of the Chiefs is if they're ever favored by that much, bet against them. They have like overwhelming evidence that shows that they do not cover whenever they're favored by 3.5 or more. And in this case, the Broncos do cover, but man, they almost lost outright because it was a game where Mahomes isn't playing well. Kelsey is playing well. Hopkins, and they're doubling, dude. They were doubling Hopkins, which is fucking wild to say.
That is
so
wild.
Now, and then you're leaving Kelsey open, and he has a great game, and that's the problem now you have with the Chiefs. Like, yeah, Mahomes hasn't been playing his best yet, but you get the feeling that they're really ramping up, and they're winning ridiculous games like this. Like, this is a game they should have lost. They go into this, what is it, tied? No, they're winning by a field goal, right? Going into the last play of the game.
No, they're up by
Denver,
2.
They're up by 2.
So they're about to lose.
They're about to lose. Right. And Denver does a really, really good job. You got to give them their flowers for being able to drive down the field in a 2-minute drill. Bo Nix puts them in a position to kick a field goal. It's like a 40-yarder.
Yep.
With Will Lutz, who missed a 60-yarder earlier, but that wasn't the result of the special teams. But anyways, it was a very close game. It was an exciting game, and you have this feeling that there's no way Denver doesn't miss this. Like, it's over. The Chiefs' undefeated season is over. They're about to lose to the Broncos, and of course, the fucking Chiefs block the field goal and they win the game. Like, what the? What?
What is the right response, I think?
How?
How many field goals have been blocked at all this season? Is that the only one?
Oh, dude, actually a lot. I wish I had that stat in front of me.
Yeah.
Yes, there have been a surprising amount of blocked field goals. That's like, man, I'll have to look that up later. You know what we need? I was thinking about this. We might need it might be a good idea to do an IG page where we can just have a platform for people to ask us questions, but also if we discover something throughout the week, like through our research for the pod, we could just post it on the story or whatever, and then it could generate
That's a good idea.
People discussing. Like, after this pod, I'm gonna go look that up, and then we can put it on our story. Like, oh, look, we've had this many blocked field goals. What's going on with special teams? Like, that's an interesting stat. People would be like, oh, that was cool. I'm glad I followed the Average Bro Pod.
I like that.
Anyways, yeah, man, the Chiefs stay undefeated through a miraculous blocked field goal and stunned Sean Payton. And after that point, man, they have, not only do they have God on their side, but they also have the refs on their side, and they have Steve Spagnuolo. And who, if he does not win Defensive Coordinator of the Year, I would be very shocked. This team is a defensive team. It's not a Mahomes team this year.
They were that way last year too, and it feels like they're even more defensive. I'm trying to think of anyone who's done as good of a job as Spags. Maybe no. Actually, I got nothing. I don't even know who's the lead on defense anymore besides Kansas City. I want to say Baltimore, but they've been like leaky, super leaky.
Oh man, the defense has been bad, and
Yeah.
Kyle Hamilton might have gotten hurt.
Oh, that's right. Oh no. I hope he's all right. I
Man.
haven't seen anything about him.
By the way, so the Ravens lose to the Browns, right? Last week? No,
Yes.
who did they lose to? Okay.
That's right.
And holy shit, they shouldn't have, because Jameis Winston played in that game, and I just like he torched them, but there were a lot of balls that went right through the hands of the Ravens cornerbacks, and it was just it was shocking that they even were that the Browns were close, because they did not deserve to be close against the Ravens, except for the fact that the Ravens have a shit defense and have not been playing well. But you know who has been playing well?
Lamar
Jackson. So he goes out and has another amazing game against the Bengals. Lamar Jackson, he now has as many passing TDs as he did last year when he won his second MVP. It is week 10.
Jesus. Of course he does.
Which is crazy, because like I feel like it's popular to predict that Josh Allen is going to win the MVP. But dude, Lamar is playing even better, and we're just at the halfway point, just past the halfway point of the season.
Lamar clearly deserves it as of now. I think he is like the far away betting favorite. I know he is the betting favorite, and I don't think it's particularly close, but I haven't looked at the odds. But it really shouldn't be that close. No.
Yep.
The only thing I'm going to add, here's my homer cap coming in, by the way. It sucks so much that Burrow is playing, like, I would say better than anyone not named Lamar.
He has been playing out of his mind. He's averaging 400 yards, 3 touchdowns per game. It's absurd.
Yeah, it might actually be his best season, which is saying a lot. Joe Burrow has actually had some statistically really impressive seasons. At least he did, 2 years ago. And this is better than that. It's so unfortunate that the Bengals just can't do anything to help him on defense.
No, it's sad, because they let a historical game from Jamar Chase result in a loss. What do you think
insane?
What do you think the NFL game record is for reception yards is?
Game record? Oh,
in one game, the most reception yards.
Yeah.
What do you think it is, and who has it?
Well, I know of one absolutely stupid game that Calvin Johnson had against the Cowboys that I think is a good candidate. So I'll just go with that. Back when Stafford was a young cat, now we're watching him as a fossil, but I think he had like 300. I don't know, 43-ish yards against the Cowboys. I'll go with that.
He had 329, and he's number 2.
Number 2. Got it.
To a fantastic name, and Flipper Anderson has the most receiving yards in a game against the Saints.
I love it.
I don't know who he played for. 336 yards.
Do you know the year?
1989. Thanksgiving.
Wow. That's so random.
Probably a Lion then. Anyways, that's cool. I didn't know. And I was sitting here thinking that Jamar Chase was close, because he had 264. 55
pretty damn points. Good. Yeah. If you played Chase, you were cooked immediately.
That's me. I don't think I did. I lost that game. My opponent scored 200 points total.
Oh my god. That sucks. Yeah. Actually, I did play Chase in our league, Simone, but I have Burrow, so that helped. And also the rest of her team kind of shit the bed.
So that kind of canceled it out, playing against Jamar. Yeah. Well, so back to the Bengals. I don't know, man. I feel like there's still a chance that they can make the playoffs. Their schedule is just so tough. and their defense is just not good enough. Even if they do make it, I think it's a lost season. I think the chances are they're not going to make it. What do you think now?
I think you're right. I haven't taken a long look at their schedule. I know they got some tough ones coming up though. They pretty much have to win out. Yeah, so it's not looking great. I think their odds are still like even on some of the bigger
Really?
markets. Yeah, which I guess that's encouragement. Honestly though, like you're right. They're probably done. I would say if you're a Bengals fan, like just hope that Burrow doesn't die because he took a beating on Thursday.
Oh,
And
is
he
that
still
right?
played amazing, but yeah. Hopefully he's still healthy.
You know what they're at least going to do, dude? They're going to really ruin somebody's season. They're going to be that team that's going to go into their house and somebody that has playoff aspirations, they're going to go in and beat them. They're good enough to do that.
Oh yeah, you're right. Just play spoiler. I know they get the Chargers somewhat soon. Maybe next week. Maybe this week.
Oh, it's next week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
and the Chargers are actually favored by a surprising amount. I want to say it's 2.5. Might be 1. I can't
That
remember
is
exactly, but
pretty big. Is it in SoFi?
it is.
It is, yeah.
It is in SoFi, and the Chargers are favored by 1 point.
That'll be fun. I think that's the nightcap. Yeah.
So the Chargers are on a 3-game winning streak.
They also look good.
And, yeah, well, you know who looks good? Burrow. He
Quentin Johnston.
Yeah, Herbert and
Herbert does look good.
QJ. And McConkey. I mean, the defense is really what's been shockingly good. They had yet to allow more than 20 points this season.
Really?
It's just like
wow.
Yeah, it's just like a classic Harbaugh team. I mean, and his quotes are just as, if not better than Mike Tomlin's, man. He's a funny dude.
He really is.
But yeah, that team's legit. I don't think, if I were to look at the Chargers right now, against the Bengals, it's hard to bet against the Chargers the way they're playing. I mean, I feel bad for the Bengals actually because they are a good team and Joe Burrow is playing well, but the Chargers are just playing better. I think that defense is going to stifle the Bengals a little bit.
On paper, the Chargers should be winning. I don't know, man. I kind of think it's a good matchup for Cincinnati just because I don't think the Chargers offense is going to like outrun them like Lamar can. And I know that the Chargers defense has been excellent. You're right. They've been like way better than anyone would have thought. But I don't know, dude. I feel like Burrow can walk in there and get some points nonetheless. I'm excited to watch though, because as long as they could give him some time, I really do think he can carve him up. I think the Chargers D is built mostly off of the pass rush. And I mean, the Bengals have struggled with that exactly. I was just saying how Burrow's been taking a beating. But they've still been scoring. You know, it's kind of weird how that's been working out. So I guess I don't think it'll be a blowout either way, obviously. They flexed it for a reason, but it'll be a fun quarterback matchup too. Herbert's been also maybe have been having the best year as well. In a more like
actually, that's a good question.
Calm offense.
He might be no, Lamar Jackson. I'm pretty sure Lamar Jackson's the top quarterback right now in offense. Maybe not as many yards because I feel like Geno Smith was atop the amount of yards. I don't know who it is. We did have that game recently, and I remember Joe Burrow being just on the outside of like the top 10 and all significant stats for quarterbacks.
For this season?
Yeah, for this season.
Really? That feels hard to believe. I know he's up there in yards and touchdowns.
Yeah, he should. I mean, he should be. I'd be surprised if he wasn't, especially at this point, because that game was 2 weeks ago, and he just had some ridiculous stats games.
Yeah,
just recently. So, anyways, the Chargers are also in a little win streak. Both of these teams beat the Browns. Now I'm bringing that up because there is some football news we should bring up, which is the fact that the Browns traded Zadarius Smith to the Lions. And I think they did that to fill Aiden Hutchinson's role that they lost, because they have a good defense, but you can tell that the Lions are still kind of missing a consistent pass rush. So that happened. Another thing that happened is the Cowboys have acquired Jonathan Mingo.
Oh, I forgot we did that already.
It's funny you say that, because I wouldn't forget the fact that they spent more to acquire Jonathan Mingo than they did in exchange for Amari Cooper. So that's fun.
Doesn't that make perfect sense?
Did you just text me?
I did, yeah.
Dude, the fucking Lions.
That was a few blocks from my house.
This is what Eddie sent me, YouTube viewers. It's a photo of a massive Halloween skeleton in somebody's front yard, but it has a Aiden Hutchinson jersey on it with crutches.
And the walking.
He's holding on to a skeleton dog on a leash.
Sorry.
I think Aiden's pretty happy seeing his team just utterly dominate. How is the Super Bowl not going to be the Lions versus the Chiefs? Like, if I were Goodell, I would find ways to pull strings to make that happen.
Watch out, you're giving out his script.
Everybody can see it, dude. Everybody can.
Of course. It feels like it's inevitable, right?
And they're making really decisions that good organizations do. Like, they're not complacent. They go out and add Zadarius Smith. He's a good player. Like, they know windows are just different now in the NFL for going out and trying to make a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl, and they're not fucking around. They're going to go out and try to make it happen. And I respect it. I think it's a good move to strategically make moves to get stronger, get better before the NFL trade deadline, which was last week, and fill the hole left by Aiden from his injury. So, yeah, man, I think they're legit. I think it's their conference to lose. So
it is.
I'm happy to see it too, man.
Me too. They're really easy to like. And I definitely hope that they beat the Chiefs if that's what ends up happening. I don't know. I feel like one of these teams will slip up, but maybe it is Chiefs versus Lions, and no real upsets happen. But to me, the Lions just look like clearly the best team, including the Chiefs. I realize Kansas City's undefeated, but when you watch them, both teams play, it's like night and day. Like Detroit's just mowing over whoever's in front of them. I guess last night was kind of an exception, but in the second half, it felt inevitable that they were going to come back and win against a good team in the Texans. And of course they did.
Well, that's just another notch on their belt of evidence as to why they belong in the Super Bowl. Like, okay, so let's start with last week. They go into Lambeau Field. They're only favored by 3 points, right? Green Bay is good. And there's all this criticism about, can Goff and the Lions play outdoors? What do? They go out and beat the shit out of them. It was raining. Goff has an incredible game. Again, he's like something stupid, like 16 for 19, 200 yards, something that you would have not expected from a arena quarterback. And they just utterly dominate them, shutting the haters up that are saying that he can't play outdoors, right? And he comes back the following week. By the way, they beat Green Bay off a bye. I'm sorry, they were going into a bye. So usually, that's neither here nor there. Okay, so this week they go into Houston, and fucking Jared Goff throws 5 interceptions all the way through the midway point of the third quarter, which is crazy.
But
did you see those interceptions against the Texans?
Not in real time, all of them, but I did see them all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them were like kind of bad too. Like
So,
just not good
I think there
throws.
were a couple that sailed, like that were
Yeah.
just bad throws, but the decisions to make those throws, I wouldn't say they were terrible.
Yeah. I mean, like
He just
the
he just
throws
had a bad
themselves.
game.
He did, but they still won.
Yeah, that's the thing. So that's another resume builder and a builder, another notch on their belt. They go out and have like their offense is not playing well at all, and the adversity it takes to come back from they were down 23 to was it 6 at one point?
I know it was at
And
least 23-7. So yeah, just about
yeah, that's what it
maybe
was.
6.
Well,
And it felt like
the
more
fact
than
that they're
that.
able to come back, dude, that's something else. I mean, that team is resilient as fuck. I would not want to see them. That is bad news to play Detroit
Yeah.
when they're able to win in all these different conditions, shutting all the haters up for everything that they criticize them for.
And they can win in any kind of game you want to play, slow or fast.
What did Dan Campbell say? We'll play you in the snow, the heat, the rain. It doesn't matter. That's just who we are. That kind of got me hyped. I was ready to run through the wall.
Oh, Dan Campbell. What a guy.
I know.
You said that about Goff, like the picks, they weren't bad decisions, and you're right. They just sailed on him, like you said. I kind of wanted to go back to that just because I think it is noticeable the difference between last year when they were already good, the Lions, right, and they made it to the conference title game, and Jared Goff was playing well, but last year it was not the same. Like he is clearly way more confident now. I'm not sure whether that's just like another year in Ben Johnson's system or I don't know. Doesn't really matter. But he's letting it rip in a way that I've never seen him do before.
Yeah, he's taken another step this year.
Yeah, for sure. And that's really unlocked any remaining question that there may have been about the Detroit offense, which there really wasn't to begin with.
I would say that there was a lot of criticism about whether Goff can do it.
Well, I guess that was the only one, right? Yeah, and specifically against the blitz, which he's more than answered this year. He's been insane.
Another point of evidence for his confidence is it's like that shooter's mentality, like Steph Curry. He'll have a game where he'll go 0 for 10 from 3. But he's fucking pulling the trigger when the game is on the line. He's not hesitating. That happened with Goff against the Texans. He throws 5 interceptions. He has arguably the worst half of his career. And then I wish I could remember the stats specifically, but they were overwhelmingly positive, like as if he just turned the switch on and said, fuck it, I'm still just as good, even though I threw all these interceptions. He goes out and he has a very high completion percentage. He basically balls the fuck out for the last 23 minutes of the game. And when it mattered most. And I just felt like that's just something to prove that he is thinking, yeah, I might have turned the ball over this many times, but I'm still the best. I'm confident what I can do. So he went out there and did it. So like, damn, like that's resilient again by Goff. And I think he's going to move on from this game pretty quick, considering he willed his team to victory, to the game-winning field goal. So that's impressive yet again.
Yep. He's jumped into another tier in quarterbacking. On the other side of that game, are you concerned about the Texans?
Yeah, I think I'm most concerned with their offense. Like, I think so, the other side of the coin here. The defense, Peter was a fucking monster. He was all over the place.
Stud. He's such a stud.
Dude, that defense is incredible. They had 5 interceptions. They had 6 turnovers. Like, come on. It's the offense that's the issue. Their line has now caused, I feel like Stroud's slowly become worse and worse. Like, he had a good first half, but man, did he have a bad second half. Opposite of Goff.
Yeah.
And I really feel like what's happening is that the pressure that he's experiencing every play is getting. I think he was pressured like last week. He was pressured 40 out of the 50 dropbacks that he had, something ridiculous. And this is just, I'm speculating here. I feel like he's starting to see ghosts now.
I was gonna say
Like
the
that
same
shit
thing.
adds up,
Yeah.
you know?
He's hearing
And I think
footsteps.
that's a problem. Like if they don't address this offensive line issue, like I'm worried that now Stroud is going to be like this the rest of the season. He's not going to be the confident quarterback that we had last year. Now he's just worried about not getting his ass torn apart. That was a weird way of saying it. By getting destroyed by blitzers because his offensive line can't block for him. Like that's concerning. Like the future of the Texans cannot ride on the play of their offensive line right now. They just can't do that to him. That's not cool.
Yeah, it's definitely alarming. I mean, as the season has gone on, you're right. Their line seems like it's only gotten worse and worse every week. And so I thought about last year and whether or not I remember seeing Stroud run for his life. And I don't really. I mean, there were some plays that he made where like he was flushed out and then he escapes and then makes an amazing read downfield off script. But it was never something where like, he was being swallowed and then just like finagled his way out of it. It was nothing like classic Russell Wilson type of maneuver, right? Just being nimble enough to get out of the pocket. Whereas now he is being swallowed, and you just got to feel bad for him and hope he stays healthy, right? And you're right. Like I don't know what the Texans are supposed to do if their line doesn't improve. Nico coming back will help, sure, but he can't block for Stroud, right? So I don't know. And it's surprising that Mixon is playing so well too. Like I guess they're just that much better, blocking for Mixon in the run game than they are protecting the pass. And it is a different style of play for sure. I think a lot of linemen are like that where they're better at one over the other, but it's just so drastic.
Yeah, something to address in their upcoming practices. They're playing the Cowboys next week, right? Battle for Texas.
That feels right. Yeah, I think
they should be favored. They're actually favored by a lot, dude. They're favored by like 6 points.
Dude,
Cowboys are bad 20. Though.
Yeah.
We could talk about your shit team if you want.
Yeah, let's touch on it.
Like I said, they did trade for Mingo. He didn't even suit up.
Wait, really? Oh no.
No, he wasn't even on the active roster for this game this past weekend against the Eagles. And the Eagles didn't even play that well. They just had a defensive touchdown, and the Cowboys were just that much worse. And then last week, Dak hurts his hamstring. Now he's put on IR for the season. And who did they lose to last week?
It's all blending together. Was it the Niners? I thought that was 2 weeks
ago.
ago.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
No, that was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I don't have them on this list. Thought I did. Well, they lost. That's all that matters. Oh, they played the Falcons, and they killed them. The Falcons killed them.
Oh God.
And that was the game where I put a link. Dak just says, somebody caught him on the sideline saying we fucking suck.
Oh.
So bad.
And the drama's only gotten worse. I don't know if you've read up on the events since we got throttled by Philly.
No, tell me.
I don't know if you watched the game. I hope you didn't for your own sake. But there was one play early where we were still maybe trying to compete. And I think it was 4th and goal. It was 3rd or 4th and goal. And Lamb is open in the back of the end zone. And Cooper Rush throws the ball. I'm not really sure if he was throwing to Ferguson or CD, but neither of them caught it. And CD specifically, it looked like he had a great play on the ball. Like, he's open, the ball's right there. And then you just see it like the ball slowly go past him without him actually even trying to catch it. And then on the replay, it shows pretty clearly like the roof being open in AT&T with the sun glaring down was right in his face. and he couldn't see the ball. And then they later panned him on the sideline talking to McCarthy, telling him just that he didn't see the ball at all. So after the game,
God.
he got asked about it. CD did, and he was telling reporters that he doesn't know why there's not like a shade or, you know, in a bit like a roof, which there is, I think. Actually, I don't know, but he said something like that. So then Jerry gets asked about it, and then Jerry's like, "No, we don't have to cover it. The stadium's been this way for however long. We've never covered it. We know exactly which way the sun goes at what time of the day, blah, blah, blah."
I don't understand. Well, you have to double down, I guess. I do understand.
I guess you do. But it gets even worse. Apparently, Parsons threw some pretty obvious shade at McCarthy after the game. And I actually want to pull up the exact quotes for this one. So Parsons gets asked something about the coach. He says, "That's above my pay grade if Mike's coach again next year. All coaching aside, Mike can leave and go where he wants to go. Guys I kind of feel bad for is guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year on their way out, because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kinds of guys that I have so much sympathy and hurt for."
That's a crazy thing to say. Is Mike McCarthy
Right?
the head coach?
Yes.
Who doesn't put in more work than head coaches? I wonder if he's saying that because he doesn't work out.
I think that's what he means. But
okay, it's a stupid take.
It's pretty awful.
He might be getting traded. That was a joke theory a couple weeks ago, but if this is truly like a teardown, maybe it is the move. You just fucking trade everyone, build up capital. But you know, Jerry's not going to do that. I'm trading for fucking Jonathan Mingo.
I would love for us to trade Parsons in the offseason. But now I'm kind of worried that his value's taking a huge hit. So I don't know. We'll just do more of the same, and I'm sure it'll work out eventually.
You might have missed out on the QB draft last year too.
I think we did, yeah.
Because I don't know who Quinn Ewers, Shedeur Sanders.
Hey, I kind of like Shedeur actually, but he's not gonna fall. I think Shedeur will go to the Raiders. But
this reminds me, I have
not good.
There's this reporter, Matt Miller. He said scouts and agents have been telling him that they're telling college QBs to not leave school until they've started at least 2.5 years in college. The NFL doesn't truly develop QBs anymore, which, you know, happens every now and then. You'll have Jaden McDaniels, right? Jaden Daniels. But that's an interesting thing to say. I guess people or teams are just rushing to find their next quarterback, so they're feeling obligated to start them, but they're on average bad. Like, look at Anthony Richardson. The dude's played he started at quarterback 10 games total in his career, including college. Like, it makes sense for guys like him or just raw young guys. So it's just interesting. Like, this is the kind of thing that you'd expect the Cowboys to do, and, you know, train up a new quarterback. But like them and a lot of other teams, they're in a rush to, I don't know, man. Like, I think that there is the window for winning a Super Bowl has shifted to the Brock Purdy method, where you have to find someone that can start right away on a very low contract that is going to give you the best chance to go to the Super Bowl. What do you think about all that?
I think, number one, playing quarterback is insanely hard at any level, especially at
that's for damn sure
the best league in the world. I think number two.
Yeah, you played quarterback in intermediate school, didn't you?
Yeah, it was the hardest thing I've done in my life. That's why I stopped.
Yeah, there you go.
Number two, finding and evaluating quarterbacks is extremely hard. So I want to agree with you, you know? I mean, well, I do think you're right that, like, the era of expecting, you know, a top 5 overall pick to just translate into a career quarterback that's going to alter your franchise, that certainly has like had a cold shower go over it with like class after class of disappointment. Like last year, like you said, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, Bryce Young, terrible. And we get CJ Stroud, luckily, thank God, but even he's been roughed up this year.
Yeah, sophomore
Uh,
slump.
yeah, this year's class, definitely too early to tell. Even last year's probably still too early, but like we have an idea, right? And outside of Daniels, we don't know anything about McCarthy yet. We don't know anything about Penix, and then like Caleb Williams has kind of been roughed up too. I think Chicago fans are getting a little anxious there as well. I still think Caleb's fine, but doesn't matter. The point is like you said, who knows with these young guys? At the same time, though, I think Brock Purdy's an anomaly.
Yeah,
I
he
think
is.
I think
They got really lucky with him.
they did. They got lucky, and he's damn good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to throw shade, but he's benefiting a lot from like Shanahan's system and an offense that has Trent Williams and all these skill guys that can help him develop more slowly. And you're not going to get that in most situations.
Right.
So if it were me, I don't know, man. I'd probably still be paying up for quarterbacks if there's one that I would feel strongly for. That's where it's like really hard to evaluate though, and that's why I don't work for a front office. I will say I don't think Quinn Ewers will be a first rounder at all.
No,
definitely not.
No. You got to give Mr. Dan Quinn a lot of credit though.
I do.
I mean, they have done a fantastic job in putting Daniels in a position to win, and they're 7-3 now. They lost a tough game against a very good Pittsburgh team, who has finally found a competent quarterback because Russell Wilson's playing his butt off.
Yeah,
which has surprised a lot of people, but
good
he's been playing
him.
really well.
He has.
But yeah, I think this game. So I'm referring to the Commanders have finally lost a game against a very good defense. This is the first good defense they've played. Did they play Chicago? No, right?
Washington?
Did Washington play Chicago?
They did. That was the Hail Mary.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so the second good defense, but with also a good offense. So it was like the first test to see, can the Commanders beat a very good team? And it was a close game. It was a really exciting game too, arguably the best game of the weekend until the Lions-Texans happened. But I didn't think it was a whole lot to put against the Commanders, other than like, man, Jaden is still young. He missed a few throws here and there. It wasn't because of like nerves. It was just he just wasn't the consistent, the Lamar Jackson type that would make that throw. Now in Lamar Jackson's career, Daniels is still a rookie, so I think there's just still time before he is going to be an MVP. He's not going to be the MVP this year. As much of a good story as it's going to be, I think this game kind of brought those thoughts back down to earth to say like, yeah, he's still a rookie. He's got to be able to beat these teams if he has any chance of being an MVP and bringing his team to the playoffs. There's still going to be a great story this year. It's still fun to watch.
It still is, yeah. He's still going to win Rookie of the Year, I would think, barring something crazy over the last
Yeah, I think he's won Offensive Rookie of the Week like 5 straight weeks, something like that. He might win it again this week. Because he didn't have a terrible game against Pittsburgh, a very, very good defense. In case I haven't said that already. But yeah, Commanders have been, surprising a lot of people. It's like a weird good loss against the Steelers too, which surprised me. Like, I just know that I would never bet against the Steelers whenever they're underdogs or whenever Matt LaFleur is an underdog. For whatever reason, those two are really good when they're underdogs. So now the Steelers have fucking Russell Wilson. So we could talk about them. So they win 2 close games 2 weeks in a row, and the offense finally is clicking, and the defense has been good all week. Joey Porter Jr. and our boy TJ have just been balling the fuck out. Now they did lose Highsmith, their middle linebacker. He's a good player.
Is that for the year? He is really good.
Yeah. It looked like a serious injury. Actually, I need to follow up on
Mm.
that, but that's not
I think
good
you're
for
right,
them.
actually.
He's a really
Yeah.
important player. But yeah,
Sucks.
but generally Steelers are 7-2. They're 7-2. Justin Fields started for them for the first 6 games, 6 games of the season. Remarkable. Just wow. You got to give Tomlin a lot of credit too. I think their over under this year was like 8.5 wins, dude. They're 7-2 right now.
That's crazy.
I know.
Tomlin is such a good coach.
Yeah. Does he get enough credit? Because I feel like he doesn't.
I don't think he does. No, because
He only has 8 playoff wins. That's probably why in his career.
Still,
and 4 of them came for the Super
elite.
Bowl run. So if you disregard that Super Bowl run, he's got 4.
But he also has never had a losing season.
He's never had a losing season. Can't deny that, man.
No, I think the Steelers are a real threat, right? Now that their offense
absolutely
actually looks legit. I think Pickens is maturing, at least on the field specifically. I don't know about off. And I think the Mike Williams acquisition kind of does help a lot because it'll just take some pressure off of Pickens.
Oh, what a clutch catch he had. Mike Williams, his welcome to Pittsburgh moment. Yeah. Was it the game-winning touchdown? It might have been.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. It was a moon ball.
That was awesome. It was a great ball. Another fantastic ball by Russell Wilson, which now he has 2 receivers that are perfect for Wilson style of play.
It really is, yeah.
Fuck, man. Steelers, look out.
They know how to build a roster.
That's awesome, man. I love to see it, actually. I was weirdly kind of like a Steelers fan. Like I've already mentioned to you that they would be my like second backup team to be a fan of. But they're kind of fun to root for.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Love Tomlin.
Yeah, so we alluded to it already, but so over the past 2 weeks, Pittsburgh at the trade deadline traded a 5th-round pick for Mike Williams from the Jets. And he's no slouch. He's definitely a good player. He was just on the wrong team. Obviously on the wrong team. Fucking Jets.
Yeah, I think he's pretty happy about that.
Yeah. Jets lose to the Cardinals. A good team now, right? They lose to the Cardinals 31-6. In a game, the Jets were favored, by the way. What the fuck
were they?
Vegas?
No, they
yes. They were favored by 1.5 points. Last week,
oh my God.
The Jets win, right? But before that game, you and I were texting. We're like, how the fuck is this possible? Why are the Jets favored by 2.5 points? And then we both ate our words. We're just like, wow, the Jets went and beat the Texans. They went into Houston and beat them. And then the next week, they play the Cardinals, and I see the line, and I'm like, how do you not bet the Cardinals? They're at home. And arguably the Jets is the best team they've played is going to be the Cardinals. So that was one of my wins. I bet on the Cardinals.
Good job.
I was shocked that the Jets were favored, and the Cardinals blew them out 31-6. Kyler, fantastic game, running the ball. Of course, they're good when that happens.
Yeah.
And now he's 3-0 when Black Ops 6 has been released.
Let's go. What a stud. He's had such an up and down season. Definitely way more good than bad, though. So good job, Kyler.
Well, at the beginning of the season, dude, it was a bad and good literally every other week. He's just racked together 3 straight wins.
I think you're right. He's finding his balance. He's stabilizing, and probably just as important as Kyler, finding his rhythm, is the fact that their defense is actually pretty damn good.
It's pretty damn good, dude.
It's something
Buda Baker
should
be
not
an
have.
MVP consider.
You're right about Buda. He's really physical, but it's not just
dude.
him.
He's fun to watch, right? Remember our pod when we talked about that? Dude,
I do.
He's so fun to watch. He's the closest thing
watching
to
him
Troy
more.
Polamalu.
Not as good as Jalen Petrie, but he's so good.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Their D line. I'm just kidding. They're both great. Their D line is getting home. I don't think I can name a single player that they have on that front. Oh no. Oh, I thought I crashed. Sorry. I don't know what happened. I don't think I can name a single player from their defensive line, but maybe it's just the fact that the Jets O-line is that bad. But yesterday they looked like impossible to block.
Yeah.
I felt bad for Rodgers.
Great coaching job. Great job by Jonathan Gannon,
Oh yeah,
who was on the brink of being an outcast, fired coach last year. So it's just impressive. The turnarounds. They're atop the NFC West. You know, they're
Yeah.
ahead of the Niners.
I'm starting to take them seriously as potentially a division winner because the Niners. I don't know, man. I know they got CMC back finally, but I'm excited to watch them play Arizona. I think it'll be quite competitive.
Next week, the Niners play the Seahawks. So the Niners come off a win.
They'll
And they
beat
get
Seattle.
CMC back. Where you think so if CMC plays normally, I was a little surprised because the Niners were favored by what was it, like 7 points? Who did they played Tampa Bay and they ended up covering. Tampa Bay. Oh, okay. We can't not talk about this game without. Holy shit, is Baker Mayfield a fucking dog?
Yeah,
What a fun player to watch.
he's earned my respect.
He had this play, which I'm sure most of our listeners and viewers have seen, where he was stiff arming Nick Bosa. And
Thank God.
Nick Bosa decided not to take him down, which was bizarre.
Fuck Nick Bosa.
Yes, I'll get to that. But still an awesome play because as he neared the sideline while stiff arming a 270-pound freak of an athlete, Baker throws a dart to get the first down on fourth down. It was insane.
That was a really cool play.
Insane. One of the coolest football plays I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. And Baker's not even that big. Like
No,
for
dude,
an NFL quarterback. He
that
dragged
game,
him.
man. I think it was that same play where he was so close to getting sacked. He got hit super hard by defensive lineman and just ducked under it and shed the tackle and then escaped the pocket. It was remarkable. He was a man possessed. He was playing as good as a quarterback can play with that roster. He was unbelievable. He was so fun to watch. I watched most of that game and it was absolutely thrilling to see Tampa Bay almost beat the 49ers with CMC back. So that's
without their top two receivers.
Yeah. It's crazy,
Good job,
man.
Mayfield. Yeah.
Way to hold off the red wall. So I saw, to touch on that, so we're kind of alluding to the fact that Nick Bosa wore a hat in the post-game conference before the election that said that was a MAGA hat, in case you didn't know that. Anyways, I saw some funny Reddit comments about why Nick Bosa didn't take down Baker Mayfield. One of them one of them was like, "Don't worry, dude. Nobody can see. Go ahead, throw it." Or he didn't want to take down his white brethren.
See, that's what I thought.
He was just like, it was bizarre the way he behaved in that tackle. It's like, okay, if I was going to play devil's advocate here, he probably was trying to avoid he was probably told specifically before that play to not get a penalty for roughing the passer. And if he tackled him from the shoulder pad there, it could have been qualified as a horse collar. So maybe that's why he let up, but still not an excuse to try to bring him down. And but yeah, it was a bizarre play that it really embarrassed Bosa that he shouldn't have made that play.
Yeah. Maybe he just thought Mayfield was like really slow, but he's not.
You put respect on Mayfield's name right now. He fucking earned it at this point.
Yeah, he's had a great season.
But ultimately, they lose. The Niners are 5-4. They lose to the Cardinals. So they have the same record, but the Cardinals are now 5-4. So they're atop the NFC West. The Tampa Bay, I think, has a bye week, but they're barely atop. No, they're tied for the with the Falcons in the NFC South. There's not a whole lot to talk about there with Tampa Bay. Like they're doing their best to just keep their head above water and make it through the season without any other major injuries. But then the Niners, they got a lot of their guys back, and they did not dominate as expected. So, are you concerned if you're a Niners fan?
I am a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I don't think they did anything too alarming. Like McCaffrey, I thought looked pretty good. I saw some Reddit stuff saying he looked slow, and that's kind of fair. You know, I don't think he looked like 2023 CMC, but it was his first game back. I think he'll be fine. Assuming you know his ankle and what Achilles and whatever is like actually good to go. But their defense to me is just like not impressive for the talent that they have. They've had games, stretches where they look like they're finding themselves, but we've yet to see it for like a complete game, I think.
Yeah.
Right? And part of what made the Niners so good these last few years was the defense, right? And at times it felt like that was the anchor, even more so than McCaffrey. And with Arizona looking good, and like the Rams breathing some life, although I guess they're about to lose, it just feels a lot less clear than like week 3.
Yeah. It's hard to bet against the Cardinals right now. They're just the better team. So I can't wait for them to play them again. And it's going to be in Arizona. So I feel like we're going to get some better information then. They do play the Seahawks in Seattle, and Seattle's coming off a bye. So that's a kind of a trap game there for the Niners. And Shanahan doesn't do very well as a favorite when he's favored by 6 or more. So I could see that being a game where the Seahawks steal one, especially because they have that extended rest. And the Niners technically expended a good amount of energy there to beat a depleted Bucs team. So I'm kind of with you there. I'm worried about the Niners a little bit. If I were a 49ers fan, I would be a little bit concerned. But we need more data points to be sure what's up with them. So let's see how they do when they play the Cardinals. They're more division matchups because their division matchups are not too far off from the Niners, in my opinion. I mean, the Seattle Seahawks are 4-5. San Francisco's 5-4. That division is kind of cannibalizing itself and making it difficult to determine who's good and who's not good.
I can't take Seattle seriously.
That's fair.
But they are like competent.
Good.
Their offense is competent. Yeah.
Their offensive line has been terrible too. It's not doing Geno Smith any favors. He had a terrible game last week when they lost.
Yeah.
Which is about time because he was the NFL passing leader in yardage, but then he turned it over like 3 times and he finally had a bad game. But that's going to happen when you have a terrible offensive line like that. That is not a sustainable offensive model.
And he was missing Metcalf, I think.
But Metcalf should play this week, but he was missing Metcalf last week. Yeah, it's true.
Feel bad for Geno. I like him.
Yeah, he's fun to root for too. Let me go back to my notes here because who should we talk about next? Well, first, did we have another game this week that was that had a game-winning field goal? Because the Lions had one, right? Was there another one?
I can't think of one.
Okay, well, last week, 3 road teams in the NFL kicked game-tying extra points in the final minute of regulation instead of going for the game-winning 2-point conversions. And all 3 of them lost in overtime anyways. One of them was the Chiefs.
That's what they got.
But yeah, maybe teams should be going for 2 more.
Well, that's what the Bengals did on Thursday, and they didn't get it.
Yeah.
I liked
it begs the question.
There.
And also you've got Fairburn missing 50-yard field goals. Remember when kickers were good and now they're not good?
Not good anymore. Maybe next week they'll be good.
So it's more evidence for teams to consider just going for 2. Like fucking win the game now. We can't trust any kickers.
Go for 2 on your first touchdown. Just go for 2 always. It's twice as
The
good as 1.
analytics. Might as well, right? I think the Lions are the only ones that have it, but man, that had a game-winning field goal this week. Last week there was a good amount of them, but there are also a lot of missed kicks. Another reason why the Niners lost is because Moody missed 3 kicks. He's supposed to be one of the best. He's a Pro Bowl kicker.
Wait, they won, didn't they?
They won. I'm sorry. Yeah, they won, but
It
should not have been nearly as close because he did miss 3 kicks.
Oh, we forgot to mention. Did you see Debo shoving his face?
Oh yeah, I heard about that. It's because he was mad at the kicker, and then the long snapper was defending the kicker because Debo was saying something to the kicker. But I mean, it's inexcusable what Debo did, grabbing this long snapper by the neck or whatever. But yeah, Divas, fucking him, Debo, and Pickens. Did you see against the Commanders when Russell threw a deep ball? It didn't go. It got picked off. Instead of going for the tackle, he turned around and just tackled the dude that was in coverage of him.
Are you
It
serious?
was such
No, I
a
didn't see
punk
that.
fucking play. I really don't like that dude.
Really, that's fair.
George Pickens, yeah, he had a phenomenal touchdown catch, but he's such a bitch.
Yeah,
God, he plays like such a punk.
But he's so talented.
Why are they like this?
No, you're right. I didn't know Debo was like that divish. He's not on Pickens' level of diva, but
no, he's not.
That was a bad luck.
For sure. You know, it was a bad look playing Mac Jones, a quarterback.
Oh my
he
God.
played for the Jacksonville Jaguars against a very good team.
Caught that.
Did it was a close game.
Yeah, I know.
No, he was awful. He was awful.
Okay.
He was miserable. He kept throwing horrible interceptions, and yeah, he's just as bad as I remember him to be. Now, granted, he was playing a very good defense. Minnesota barely scraped away with a W there because Sam Darnold was holding him back. He threw 3 picks. It was an ugly game, 12-7, really bad. Not a game you want to watch again, ever again. But
burn the tape.
This is a sort of a slow-moving train wreck for the Vikings. Their defense is fantastic, but man, has Darnold been playing very badly the past 3 weeks.
You knew it was coming eventually. He had to wake up.
Yeah.
I think they're not a contender. I never really thought they were. I know you did.
Remember when I said they were? That was stupid. That's because I was banking on Darnold. And remember, I don't know anything about the NFL.
I remember that. I don't know either. They'll make the playoffs, surely, right? They can't miss. I think they're still like 7-2.
Oh yeah, they're still so good record-wise.
Their record, yeah.
They're just like they're one of those teams that's a fraud. Like you have to look at them and be like that record just isn't accurate.
Yeah, just like 2 years ago. Exactly like 2 years ago. But actually kind of worse because at least they had Cousins. I guess their defense is a lot better. That's what we were harping on those few weeks.
Mm-hmm. So I wrote down here in a note from last week's game. A player JJ is averaging the most yards per game right now. So it helps that they have the best wide receiver in the game on offense, even when Darnold's bad. But I have a note here. I watched a lot of both of the Vikings games, even the Jaguars game, which, I shouldn't have. It was a terrible game. But it's still shocking to me how often teams leave. What I've noticed is that they consistently leave JJ in single coverage. And when Darnold has been good, he's putting up yardage numbers because he's just fucking throwing it to JJ. Because who wouldn't? You single JJ, dude, throw him the fucking ball. He's unguardable.
Yeah. Just if you're gonna run the ball for whatever reason, but he's in single coverage, you audible and you pass him the ball.
Yes. He's that good.
He's
Why would
that
you
dude.
ever leave single coverage on that dude? It's the stupidest thing to do.
I'm also surprised that he's left single alone as much as he is, because it's not like they have, these super studs on the other side. They have Addison, who's good. They have Hawkinson back finally, so I guess that's kind of nice. But you'll take your chances with any of those guys rather than leaving Jefferson on an island. I don't know. I know he does get doubled a lot more as they get closer to the end zone,
Mm-hmm.
but I agree with you. Like, just double him more times than not.
They could do the Bill Belichick strategy. Have you heard about the strategy he would do against number one wide receivers when he was the coach?
Remind me. I know it's something stupid.
It was stupid simple is what it was. He was privileged to have Ty Law and Darrell Revis. So what he would
Yeah.
do is put Darrell Revis on the second best receiver, and then he would double the first receiver with
That's right.
with the nickel and the other corner, or they would cap with the free safety on their best receiver. Such a simple strategy, but I think it's a luxury to have Darrell Revis or Law. So of course that would work, but maybe other teams should start doing that.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that.
Speaking of good cornerbacks, Jalen Ramsey. So the Dolphins are playing who are they playing tonight?
Rams, they just beat him.
Oh, they just won, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, I watched the first half a little bit there and looked like Ramsey was having another good game. That'd be a good candidate for that Bill Belichick strategy.
Ramsey's weird. He feels like a linebacker, but yeah, he is a great player.
He's certainly sized like one. He's big.
Yeah.
Dude, the Dolphins are an enigma to me. What was the final score?
I think it was like 23-15. It was one of those weird Monday scores.
What a
I
shit
think it
game.
was. I know the Rams tried an onside at the very end and they didn't get it. Something blah. The Dolphins to me are actually quite easy to figure out. If they have Tua, they win games. If they play a good team, they lose with or without Tua. If they don't have Tua, they lose against good teams and bad teams.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, I was about to complicate it, but I like your theory. I was going to complicate it because I feel like I watched them play a good amount last week. They looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Their
but they played a good
offense is
team.
lethal.
Yeah.
Who did they play?
They played the Bills, right? Last week?
Yeah, they were in that game until the very end. But man, Mostert had a great game. Achane, they were all back. Now, Waddle, I have a random note here. Waddle is 5'10", 185. There's that. He's way smaller than I expected. I thought that was interesting. They're a small offense, but this is the same offense that scored 70 points on the Raiders last year. 2 years ago, last year. What is their problem? Like, they should be. Why aren't we looking at this team as better? Is it the coaching? Is it just that simple? Like, because I remember when they were like the best offensive team ever put together last year, and then
I do.
Now Tua's back. What happened? Like, why aren't we looking at them as a contender to finally come? They won tonight. So when are people going to start talking about the Dolphins?
They're not, dude. Because last year was all smoke and mirrors. Don't you think?
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Because they ran up the score on bad teams, but then they would get punked anytime they played someone who's legit. Like they got punked by the Chiefs, I remember last year when they played in, I think it was London. They got punked by the Bills. They got punked by someone in the playoffs. I don't even know who they played, but they got punked. And that's kind of been the story of McDaniels in Miami, hasn't it? Like, lead the league in offense, all these crazy, innovative schemes and motions, basically inventing the cheat motion. And look, I get it. McDaniel, I like him, and I think he's a great mind. I'm not doubting that, but like, he's gonna get figured out,
Yeah.
and especially when the offense is like so predicated on one thing and one thing only, which is like timing and speed. I guess that's two things, but you get my point. It's like
Yeah.
we all know what they're trying to do, and if you take that away, what else do they got?
Well, dude, I think it's worth saying that they have been figured out because the
Yeah,
coaching is
yeah,
still there, right?
right. I think they have been, yes.
Yeah. It's too bad. They've got a lethal roster right now. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, again, they won tonight, so I don't know. You know what? I take it back. I still think they have the offensive threat to be really good. So that division, even though they're 4 games behind Buffalo, which is crazy, um, who? Okay, I have to think about our previous AFC playoff picture. I don't think the Bengals are going to make it with that record, and I think the Dolphins can get a better record than the Bengals. So let's just say
Ooh, okay.
we we go back to that playoff picture and not include the Bengals. What are the chances of the Dolphins to make it into the playoffs now that they're 3-6?
I mean, I guess it's not that bad because I'm looking at the standings here now. It's the same amount of losses as the Bengals and as the Colts. I definitely like them better than the Colts. But I think not looking at either team's schedule, I think the Bengals are still better than the Dolphins.
I do too. I do too.
Okay. And then the teams that are currently in, going from 7-1, it's the Broncos at 5-5, Chargers 6-3, Ravens
2,
7-3,
3,
Texans 6-4,
4.
Steelers 7-2, Bills 8-2, and then God at 9-0.
Oh, that's 7 teams.
Yeah.
So it's going to take one of these good teams to fall off, and it looks like it's got to be, but it has to be the Bengals, and then most likely it's got to be the Chargers and the Broncos
Yeah.
to
It's got to be one
start
of them
shitting the bed.
for sure. I think
So it's not
the
out of this world for
Broncos.
that to happen. What were you
Okay,
gonna
the
say?
Broncos. Yeah, I was gonna say I think the Broncos are gonna fall out. So now I'm looking at their schedule. They play Atlanta this week. That's gonna be tough. Then they kind of have a couple weeks against easy teams. They get Vegas, they get Cleveland, but then it gets juicy like the last few weeks in terms of the wild card race. Looking at it now, so they go week 15. They play Indianapolis. Then they go to LA to play the Chargers. Then they go to Cincinnati, and then to end the
They
season,
play at
they
Cincy.
host the Chiefs. Yeah,
They host.
it
Yeah,
could
I
end up
remember
being.
the last game of the season is the Chiefs,
Yeah,
which it could be a scheduled win
right. That's true.
because the Chiefs are gonna. They historically rest their players.
Or are the Chiefs going to say "fuck you" to everyone and be staring at Denver with a 16-0 record, ready to make history?
Well, they've already said out loud that they want to make history by making a third Super Bowl. So if they were faced with the decision to make history, I think they're going to take it.
I think you're right.
But I don't know. That's not even going to be a thing because the Bills are going to beat them next week. Anyways, yeah, I think the Dolphins have a chance here. They need to go undefeated, which seems unlikely. But I don't think it's a crazy thing to say that the Dolphins, now that they've got their roster back and Tua doesn't seem to be playing terribly, if they correct a few things, I think they'll make some noise. Hot take.
It could happen.
It could happen. Could happen. Okay. Other games. Giants lose to the Panthers. Overtime game. Panthers are still terrible, but somehow the Jets lose to them, so they might be worse.
There's your field goal game winner. That's the one we forgot.
That's it. Yep. In Germany. Which,
So it doesn't count.
hilariously, the only note I have for that game is that Ed Hockley, the brother of the old Hockley brother, made the very first penalty call in German. It was weird to hear that.
Interesting.
Patriots beat a reeling Bears team. Beat them 19-3. Boy, are the Bears bad now. And I saw some rumors on Reddit saying that they're considering benching Caleb Williams.
Really? For who?
Yeah.
Tyson Bagent?
Yeah, that dude. You saw Hard Knocks. He seems fun.
He is kind of cool, yeah, I have to say.
He's kind of cool. That's an interesting
bizarre.
move. I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Texas quarterback situation.
Oh God, really? How?
Well, in the sense that, like, should you bench your quarterback? Is that the best decision for the mentality of a?
Okay.
You know, like they don't
Yeah.
have Arch Manning waiting. Like Tyson Bagent's, he's cool, but he's not the best. But like, does it make sense to bench someone that is going to be your cornerstone player? I don't see it.
I don't either. I was hearing more talk about what's his face, Mr.
Eberflus.
Eberflus. There you go. Which is fair.
Eberflus.
Yes. Never flub.
Yeah, since Caleb is a rookie, it would make more sense to just fire Eberflus and get a new guy.
Yes.
Go get fucking Belichick, dude.
Honestly. Or go get Dennis Allen. He is the guy that leads Chicago.
I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. Oh, Jesus Christ.
What would you do? What would you do if Dennis Allen was hired in Chicago and then he led them to a Super Bowl next year?
Okay, now you're talking crazy. That's fucking a ludicrous thing to say. I'll give you this about Dennis Allen. He's a good defensive coordinator, but the Bears don't need that.
No, they don't. That's the only thing they don't need.
All right. Let's move on. What other games did we miss? We talked about the Bengals, Ravens, Packers were on bye. Rams lose tonight. Not a good loss by them. I think they're 4-5 now. Yep, we pretty much covered it. Oh, so I have a game for you. Are you surprised?
Yes.
It was inspired by Jamar Chase's game.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So it got me thinking about records. I want to see how much you know about football records. So this is how it works. All these records I'm going to give you are in a season. I want you to just tell me who you think the player is. I'll at least give you a couple hints here and there. It's that simple. All right. We're going to do one for offense only. All right. So who do you think has the record for the most rushing yards in a season?
Adrian Peterson.
Great guess. Him, Chris Johnson, and the answer, Eric Dickerson, all have 2,000-yard rushing seasons. Derrick Henry is approaching it. He is on pace for 2,000, and he's on pace for like 30 touchdowns. So that was interesting to me. Okay, next question. Record for the most passing yards in the season.
It's going to be something stupid. I already know. Blake Bortles. Just kidding. I don't know. There's so many ways I could go with this one. I feel like it has to be recent, but then I kind of want to say Brett Favre for some reason.
That answer makes
Yeah.
sense. He did sling it a lot.
No, I gotta go more recent than that. I'll say Matt Stafford.
Nah.
Okay.
Let me give you a hint.
Okay.
Played for the Broncos
Played for
when
the
he broke the record.
Broncos. Was it Peyton?
It was Peyton with the
Oh, that's
fucking
right.
Broncos.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. It old Peyton.
Yeah.
Okay, I would not
Crazy,
have
right?
guessed that. Yeah.
All right.
I had
Receiving
heard
yards
that
in the
a long
season.
time ago. Okay, receiving. The obvious answer that's probably not correct would be Calvin Johnson, but I don't think it's him. I don't think it's Michael Thomas, because if anything, Thomas probably has like catches. So, damn. Yeah, whatever. Calvin Johnson.
I like this. This game is really damaging your
My
perception on
reputation.
records. It is Calvin Johnson.
Oh, it is. All right.
Yeah. But I like how it's just like your gut is right, but the way these games go, it's just like you feel like it's a trick and it's fucking you up.
Yeah.
I have a note here that's worth. I thought you were going to guess this, so I put the note here. Cooper Kupp is 17 yards away from the record. Remember the year they went to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, the Triple Crown year. I thought about Cup.
Yep.
I just for some reason thought it was like really short catches, but I guess not. I guess he had a lot of big plays too.
Cooper Kupp. This just crossed my mind. He is 31 and Triple Crown year. When do you think he had that Triple Crown year? 2021. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
So he
reason.
was 28. How old do you think Calvin Johnson was when he broke that record?
30 flat.
He retired at 30, dude.
Really? Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
26.
He retired at 30. He retired at a really young age.
Smart man.
So he retired in 2016. And then when did he break the record? He broke the record in, 2012. So he retired. He broke the record when he was 26 years old. Kupp broke it when he was 28, and Kupp is obviously still in the league. So I don't know. I just wanted to compare the stats between the two players. Okay, next one. Oh, shit. Lost my notes. All right. Which three quarterbacks have thrown for 50 or more touchdowns in a season?
Okay. I'm going to go Rodgers for one. I'm going to go Stafford. I know he was slinging it in Detroit. And I think he has one of those crazy touchdown years.
Stafford, you mean the quarterback of the Lions that had the defeated season?
Yes.
Sorry, continue. Rodgers, Stafford.
And then I kind of want to say Mahomes, but I don't think that's right. But yeah, I'll say Mahomes.
Okay, you were 1 for 3.
Okay.
Mahomes threw for 50 touchdowns.
No
4 years
Rodgers.
ago. No Rodgers. Brady threw for 52.
Oh, dang.
That was 2011 when he got Randy Moss.
Okay.
And then Peyton Manning has the record for 54.
Wow, it's all the old guys.
Okay, receiving touchdowns in a season.
What's the threshold? Just the top, the best ever.
Just the most receiving touchdowns in a season.
Okay.
It was a wide receiver, or it's a pass catching person.
All right. Um. I think I'll say Cup, which feels boring.
Dude, I just said the answer. It's Randy Moss. 23
Oh,
with the Patriots. You're good.
sorry.
I know our listeners are going to be cursing at you for that one. Okay, rushing touchdowns in a season. And we have said this one before.
We have.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I'm not taking notes. Okay. Wait, you mean like on this episode? It doesn't matter. Barry Sanders.
No, it's LaDainian Tomlinson.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Dude, we talked about it.
Weeks ago.
I know. I figured since you played quarterback in intermediate school, you'd have a really good memory. But
Well, that's why I stopped playing, because I don't have a good memory.
I have a note here. Priest Holmes had 27. Second place.
Nice.
Receptions in one season.
I feel like I'm just really hopeless here. I can't say Cup, so I have to say, Michael Thomas.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, I was so scared. I thought you were going to say
Let's
Cup. I was like, no, dude, you said it earlier. Don't do this.
I did say it earlier. I think I knew that
Michael
one.
Thomas.
Actually.
Michael Thomas has not retired. He is currently 31 years old.
Oh, he was clowning on Derek Carr. Did you see that on Twitter?
It was kind of funny, honestly.
He laid into him.
Kind of what he needed. You have to think that it made a difference because Carr had a great game.
Maybe Michael Thomas is just looking out for the Saints organization.
He's on the payroll still. All right, so that was my last offensive question, but just for funsies, I've got 3 defensive ones. Sacks in one season.
Sacks. I mean DeMarcus Ware, even though I'm pretty sure that's not even close.
DeMarcus Ware? God, dude, you're the worst, dude.
Well, who is it?
Cowboys fans.
Lawrence Taylor.
That's a better guess. Thank you. I know he plays for the Giants, but come on. No, that's not right. It's T.J. Watt and Michael Strahan. They're both tied.
Okay. Yeah, could have done better.
DeMarcus Ware, get out of here.
Hey, he was awesome. All right, let's go. Better than Parsons.
Yeah, you can't deny that at this point. All right, interceptions in a season. I can tell you this right now, you're not going to get this. If you got this, I would be shocked.
There's no way it's Deion Sanders, is it?
No.
Okay. Then I don't know.
Trayvon Dick. No, I'm just kidding. It's Night Train Lane in like the 1960s. He had 14 in one season.
Yeah, no shot at all. I've never heard that.
I hadn't heard of it either. Trayvon Diggs did have 11, so
I thought about it, but I figured you wouldn't be asking if it was Trayvon.
That would be very cruel of me to do that, then fuck with you that bad. You would be just traumatized if I was like, it's Trayvon Diggs. You wouldn't know how to answer any of these questions, play these games moving forward. Okay, last one. Solo tackles.
That is so hard. Okay.
It's actually not as hard as you think it is.
Troy Polamalu. Who is it?
No, it's not. Is it weird that I'm a little disappointed? I think it is. I shouldn't be, but I think I am.
No, but I just don't know why you expected more. These are hard.
Try again. Try just one more guess. Come on.
Just one.
You can do this.
It has to be
it's
a linebacker.
not Troy Polamalu.
Right? It has to be a linebacker. Oh, I guess it's not.
I didn't say anything.
Exactly. I know it's not Fred Warner, right?
That's not a bad guess. That's not a bad guess.
It is a bad
It's
guess.
not Fred Warner. Would you like one more guess?
I'll take one more.
All right.
Just throw it all out there. Is it? Oh, what's his freaking face? Ray Lewis?
Yes, it's Ray Lewis.
Oh, okay.
See, not that bad. I knew you could
Three
get
tries. 3 tries.
there. I texted Eddie the answer. I texted Eddie. I didn't. Or am I? I'm just, so that's it for our game. Thanks for playing again. It's always fun doing this.
Next time I might not play. You got to be a contestant.
Hey, you want me to be a contestant, dog? Or step up to the plate. And then
You're
I'm
right.
welcome to play.
I got to make a game for you.
All right. Well, we did our best to cover 2 weeks of football. How do you think we did? Is there anything else that we need to talk about?
The only thing I've been left wondering, if just really quickly, who do you think's winning on Thursday between Washington and Philly, and who do you think's taking the division?
Yeah, I'm still of the variety that the Eagles have shown that they're going to beat up on bad teams, and they have a bunch of bad teams left on their schedule. So I want to say the Eagles, but I think there's the potential of a shift if the Commanders can if they can go into Philly and beat them. Right? They're on the road. They're going into Philly.
I think that's right. Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I think I agree.
Impressive. So I'll put it this way: if the Commanders can beat Philly, I think it's simple as yes, the Commanders will come in and will win the division. If the Eagles win, then it's open and shut case. It's going to be their division to lose.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're absolutely right, because they both actually have pretty soft schedules outside of playing each other.
Right.
I'm excited. I also have Philly winning the division. I hope I'm wrong, though. Okay, let's move on.
Well, that's definitely that game is my second most exciting game. It is a Thursday game, and I don't like those. But I'm most excited to see the Chiefs go into Buffalo. I'm curious if they're going to be able to remain undefeated. So, yeah, it's going to be a great weekend overall.
I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Now, as far as watching the Thursday game, this kind of goes into my corner. We can jump into that. I have 2 things I'm going to make up for last week. Okay. With 2 things. And so I started playing in a volleyball league, like an indoor volleyball league. And I wasn't able to watch the first half of the Thursday game, the exciting one, the Bengals and Ravens, because they scheduled an adult rec league volleyball game at 9:20. So late, dude. And the people that I'm playing with are from a gym that's like literally a block away. So we usually hang out, we go work out together, and that last class is at like 6 o'clock. So we're out of the gym at like 6:30. So we have like almost 3 hours to burn, right? I bring a game called Quacks of Quedlinburg. Do you remember this game? It's a gambling game.
I don't think I do.
Well, we intended on playing it, and it was kind of planned out to do that. But we went to go get food right afterwards, and then we went over to the volleyball place to play the game. But they must have heard that we were coming, because they closed down everything but the volleyball courts. So there was no tables or anything like that for us to play on. So we were forced to just wait outside in the dark.
Oh, wow.
We ended up waiting 3 hours because they delayed the game 45 minutes. We weren't playing volleyball until 10:05. Something absurd. It was
Wow.
so frustrating. Like, and then we, anyways, while we were waiting, the fun part is we ended up playing a bunch of camping games. So I want to play one with you right now. All right.
Okay. I was not ready.
I'm going to
Let's
hold up
go.
a number. Okay. I'm going to hold up a certain amount of fingers. It's going to represent a certain number. And once I've shown you a few examples, I want you to tell me what, when I hold up fingers, what number it represents. Okay. All right. So for listeners, if you're not watching this, I'm holding up one finger. Okay. This is 1. All right.
Okay.
I'm holding up 3 fingers. This is a 1. Okay. Now I'm holding up 5 fingers. This is 3. Okay. Now I'm holding up 2 fingers. This is a 5. Now I'm holding up 4 fingers. This is a 2. Now I'm holding up 3 fingers. This is a 4. Now I'm holding up 1 finger. Eddie, what number is this?
I thought I had it until the last one where you said 3 equals 4, even though you let off with 3 equals 1. Did you not? I thought you did. Because
Okay,
I
to
thought
not
you were just.
belabor it.
Is it 4?
So I played this game with the friends of mine that were there, and they must have spent like an hour doing it, and it was quite enjoyable. But they all, like, you know how it goes with a group of people that you give them a riddle, and one by one they start to figure it out, and it's really funny watching just their worlds just fall apart in front of their eyes as one person gets it, and they're just like, I don't get it. I don't understand how it works. And it was just really entertaining to see it happen. And I kind of see it happening to you right now. You're just like racking your brain. You don't understand how that riddle works. And you know what? I'm not going to give you the answer to the riddle.
Are you hiding it with the other hand? Because I remember you played a similar game back when I was still in college.
Oh, that would be
And
evil, dude.
the
Damn.
answer was just your other hand was holding up the right number, but we just had to like take the time and look down. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but damn, that's shitty. No, that's not what it is.
You did it.
Damn, that would suck. All right, and then okay, so I'll let you sleep on that one, and then maybe we'll give you the answer in our next pod.
All right.
So remember how I told you I was hoping to adopt a cat?
You did, a Maine Coon.
Yes. Yeah, I did. I finally did. So it happened.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I have a roommate, his name's Blake. He's allergic to cats. So I can't bring him home until Blake moves out. And he plans on it, which is fine. We'll work it out. But the story goes, so since it's official, my mom went and picked up the cat. My mom lives in Houston. So she went to pick up the cat and hold on to the cat's name is Jax. He's a gorgeous, handsome young fella. 4-year-old Maine Coon, beautiful. But he's huge. So he arrives at my mom's house, and my mom has a cat and a dog already. And as soon as this cat enters the home, he walks in with this attitude, chest held high. He walks in, he slowly takes the crown off his head, places it on his mantle, and he looks around and says, "This is all now mine. Thank you for bringing me into this house. I declare all of this my home." And that is the attitude, the pompous, this confident cat, hilarious. Just fucking everything he did, it was just with an audacity to him. And there was a point where my mom's dog is like, her name is Maya, and she's like a third the size of Jax. Jax is like 25 pounds. He's enormous.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's
he's huge. So my mom's dog would actually go and chase around my mom's cat, Mia, and she was pestering her, right? Before Jax got there. When Jax gets there, thinking that this is a cat, Maya, the dog, tried to do the same thing to Jax. So he goes and nips at his heel.
Uh-oh.
And Jax, man, he doesn't
Did he punch him?
flinch. No, he does nothing. It was so funny. Like,
Oh, wow.
She goes at him, and Jax just doesn't even look at her, and continues on. Just so, like, I swear, if you put a voice on this cat's, what this cat is thinking, simple canine. I cannot trouble you with whatever you have to say to me. I must carry on and rule my land. He just did not he did not give two shits about this dog. And that's when I knew this was going to work with Fen, because Fen is 100 pounds and the confidence on this cat is otherworldly. So it was a great weekend to be able to meet Jax, and then get an idea of what it's going to be like to live with him. So that was fun.
That's dope.
Last thing, one cute thing that happened. So I had to leave 4 a.m. on Sunday to make it to a workout in Austin. I was sleeping like in a room in the other side of the house, upstairs actually, and Jax, we were trying to have him accustomed to being around me, right? So we had him sleeping with me the other 2 nights. But on the third night, he was already kind of hanging out with my mom. So I was like, just leave him in there. And the thing about Jax is he's a polydactyl cat. You know what those are? Multiple toes on their front feet. So he's got 7 toes on his right front foot paw, and then 6 toe beans on his left front paw, which makes him very good at opening doors. So when he first came into the house, this motherfucker was going around opening doors, and he actively opened my mom's door because there was other animals in there, and he would do it. And my mom texted me like, are you trying to get into my room? And it was Jax, and he's just like, hello, don't you forget, I own this house now. It was hilarious.
In
Just
case you
constantly
forgot.
opening doors. Anyways, that night that I had to leave early, he was in my mom's room. The door was closed. I was packing up and about to head downstairs, and I hear a meow at the top of the stairs. It's fucking he opens the door to say goodbye to me. Like, he's at the top of the stairs, and he's just like, hey, dude, I don't know you, but you and me, we're gonna be bros later. And he wanted to come and say hello at 4 a.m. And I was like, damn, I looked downstairs because you can see my mom's door from there. I'm like, did you open that door to come up here and say that?
You wanted to go work out.
Oh yeah, clearly, yeah. Just to be clear, he did not actually speak English words to me. But anyways, feel compelled to say that.
That's a lame cat then. My cat speaks.
All right, so there you go. 2 weeks worth of corners. What's going on with you? What's going on in your corner?
Just standard election anxiety type stuff. So
last week,
I
know you want to talk about the election, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch on that. I'll get into first why we had a bye week. My fault. So last week, woke up on Monday. I felt fine. Jamie felt fine, and our dogs felt fine. But one of our cats, Spook, just had a rough Monday last week. Seemingly overnight, he built up a fever that got pretty high. It was up to 105. The vet said. I guess I shouldn't say overnight. He was acting a little strange a couple days prior, but then he was fine. It seemed like he was eating and stuff. But last
Dude,
Monday,
105
he
is
was.
high.
It's really high. Yeah, we were pretty concerned, and he wasn't eating, and so that's kind of what did us in. We decided to take him to the emergency vet at that point because he's a hungry boy. So we took him. I don't gotta get into all the details, but basically he's fine. Thank God. We're happy. Nothing was really diagnosed, which is that's kind of weird. They ruled out a bunch of like terrible stuff, so that's good news, of course. But
Okay, yeah.
the best they could say was like probably he caught some kind of virus or flu or something. So we don't know, but he's back home and he's back to his usual hungry self. So that's great news.
That's
And then
awesome.
yeah,
Good to hear.
yeah, definitely relieved. But then the next day was not so good news. The next day was election night. And I guess I don't really know where I was going to go with this one. I just felt the need to bring it up. I've had conversations with a few different family members since then, and I don't know, man. I'm not going to say any names, but one of my grandparents' children, who's not my mom, I was talking to them on over the weekend, and they were bamboozled, right? They were shocked and they couldn't believe how could people vote for this man who's done all these things. And I was like, I'm also equally like taken aback and stuff, but I'm not really surprised. I wasn't surprised. And
Yeah.
I told this person, I'm not surprised because of people like you, because this person didn't vote.
Oh,
And the logic
oh
was
fuck.
like, yeah, exactly. The logic was simply that they live in Texas and they knew which way the state was going. And I was like, yeah, I get it, kind of, but you can't really say that until you vote. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It was disappointing. Go vote, children, next time. If there is a next time.
The only thing I'm gonna add that's not regurgitating whatever the fuck is on the news right now is my half-baked speculation is considering how badly Harris lost and how much of a landslide it was
Yeah.
compared to expectations, I should
It
say.
was. No, it was.
Next election, 4 years from now, next election, voter fatigue is going to be an all-time high. Who the fuck is going to be encouraged to go out and vote in the next election after an election like this where nobody expected this to happen, and then there has been like reports of like the most voter turnout by Dems and whatever. There's always reports like that. Now I'm thinking, well, shit. There's gonna be millions of Democrats that are just discouraged from voting. So they're like, well, it doesn't even fucking matter. I just, if I had to guess, voter fatigue is going to be at an all-time high the next time we have an election because, I mean, they're looking at this and they're like, I just went out there, I brought all my friends out, and it didn't even matter. It was still a landslide. So what the fuck? What's the point? So that's my half-baked like we're fucked take about politics.
uh, yeah. I understand the sentiment. I don't know. I hope you're wrong, man. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I'll end with this enthralling discussion with
Sorry to bring down the
no,
mood.
it's okay. I'm being facetious. Um I'll end it with the pretty much when I'm not looking forward to political wise. Um a Republican lifetime, basically. The Senate, the House, it's all going to be red for a long time. So not looking forward to that. But you know what we are going to get for a long time? Jaden Daniels. So I'll end it there.
Score.
Well, thanks for your corner, and thanks to everybody for listening. And until next Tuesday. Toodles.
Till next time.